back to the channel, ladies and gentlemen, and today we are reviewing Paper, the sitcom, a comedy series inspired by The Office. Now, what is the plot of The Paper, you'd ask? If you haven't watched The Office, it's a very similar... If you have watched The Office, sorry, it's a very similar concept to that. It's an office full of people, and they kind of do their job, and this kind of like comedy, a little comedy show. You get to see some funny stuff. So what is The Paper about? So The Paper is essentially, there is a paper company. These are the events after The Office. It's a paper company, an old like newspaper firm, and essentially they haven't really run the way they used to. They do a lot of like, I don't know, like these little pop-up articles that you can see online nowadays, very like lazy journalism. So they hire a new, I think it's chief editor, or I can't remember what the terminology is, but he's like to be the head of the paper, and he wants to bring back proper journalism to the firm, the paper firm, to get the name that it used to hold back to its former glory. And then, like I said, if you don't, it's a comedy show, so a lot of like ups and downs happen, and it's just like it's just a bunch of funny little episodes. I think it's only about 10 episodes, 8 episodes, something like that. It is very funny. The cast is very good. If you've watched The Office, you'll know that Oscar is on this. So essentially, the way it kind of runs, if you've not watched The Office, is kind of like a camera crew filming the journey, and then they do like little interviews with them, and then they film basically everything. So The Office is basically the paper's off after The Office, and Oscar was part of The Office show, like the entire show. And then the firm, they say in the beginning, it's not really much of a spoiler, they give you a little backstory of what happened to The Office and where this film crew is coming from, and they kind of come to the paper to do a similar project with the paper. And Oscar also moved, and he's been working there, so he knows the camera crew, and when they come up, it's a little funny moment where he's just like, no, not this shit again, I'm not doing this. And it's a funny first episode. He does come around to being more into it again, but it's a funny first episode. I think the cast was very good. It doesn't hold a candle to The Office, but when I was watching it, I was kind of going into it thinking like, don't think about The Office, think about it, its own show. And I enjoyed it. I thought it was very good. Like I said, it doesn't hit that Office level, but it is good. I had some giggles and some laughs. The character Esmeralda is on the show. She was the head like chief editor of the paper before she gets replaced. Well, she doesn't get replaced, but she kind of gets like, her position gets put lower down. So she still works there, but she's not in charge of what goes on in the paper. She tries to sabotage the new guy that comes in, and it's so funny. The characters are very good. The show is very funny. Why would I give this out of 10? I'm going to give it a solid 7. I give it a lot of things a solid 7, but yeah, I think it's a decent watch. If you're an Office fan, you will enjoy The Paper. Like I said, it's not going to hit the same heights as what The Office did, but it'll give you a few good chuckles and kind of make you miss the Office. Also, maybe even make you rewatch it. But I do think Papers will probably get a season 2 of The Paper. I think it was good. I think the characters are very good. It's a breath of fresh air from the usual comedy shit that we were being served up. But yeah, anyway, I'm gonna leave it over there for The Paper. Go check it out. Let me know if you've watched it, who your favorite characters are, and give me a little comparison if you watched both The Office and The Paper, what you think of the shows. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.